Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today we're going to be talking about politics. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I really appreciate your support during this time, and I hope you're taking good care of yourself because that is the most important thing that matters. We are going to get through this. We are going to get on the other side of it. However, we are in the middle of it. This is literally the belly of the beast. We are in the middle of it. And now's the time to pace yourself. Now's the time to maybe curtail your diet of media. If you're new here, I'm channeling 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. Let's get to your questions. And if you're wondering how to leave a question, you just click on the logo. That's where you'll go to my main YouTube page. Along the top of some tabs, you'll see post. Go there. You'll see where I'm asking for questions. So right off the bat, Mary asked this question about Mr. P from the country that starts with an R, right? She says that Zelensky said that Mr. P will be gone soon. Now, what he said was something like, I'm going to outlive him. He said something similar to 45 in the sense that he said, you're the president for 4 years. Why aren't you looking at things from a longer perspective, right? So I think in a lot of ways, Zelensky's trying to get everybody to see that decisions made today affect people for decades, if not, more than decades. So anyway, he did say Putin isn't going to live forever, right? What are we going to do after that? It's interesting to me how Zelensky's framing these questions like that. Like, can we not talk about the long term? But unfortunately, the two people he's talking about are people that are so power hungry, they're simply not interested in anything that doesn't have to do with them. They don't care what happens after they're gone. All they care about is the power they wield right here, right now. So, your question is there intelligence that Zelensky is getting that Mr. P is going to be gone? I would say that we've all, when I say we've, the psychic community that does political readings, we've all seen that he is not well, just the same way that we've seen that 45 isn't all, he doesn't have all his wits, right? It's clearly obvious something is wrong there. But I will also say that these two men have some of the best medical care that could possibly be found on this planet. So they're able to get some extra years in or some extra time on this planet in because of that just incredibly good medical care. Now, having said that, I will say that what the spirit guides are saying right now is knives out. If you've ever heard that term before, knives out. And right now, because I am clairaudient, I'm hearing the sound of sharpening knives, which actually makes it's not a sound I like. It kind of, that kind of nails on the chalkboard. So I hope that they'll stop saying playing that sound for me because I don't like it. And it's so loud in my ears right now. So that means that somebody is getting ready to I'm just asking them exactly what they want to say here because we all have to be careful. Some people are sharpening their knives. They just keep saying they're sharpening their knives. You guys can infer from that what that means. I don't think he has much of a chance of leaving this earth through a natural passing, if that also makes sense to you. Now, timing is impossible. I like to tell you guys, spirit doesn't have a clock. They don't have a watch. They don't keep time. We keep time. They don't. So they do the best they can to sort of give me a time frame within our human, you know, idea of what time is. And I keep getting August. Now, it doesn't mean that he can't go before then because we have free will. And people, look, there's no honor among thieves here. And if he's got multiple factions for various reasons wanting to get rid of him, then he's not in the best position, right? And what that means is somebody could literally succeed. The guides are saying someone could succeed in this endeavor in July. There are even more people who want him gone than ever before. And I've always seen and it would have to be anyway, his inner circle. He would have to be betrayed by his inner circle. And I feel like that betrayal energy is very prevalent, not only with Mr. P, but also with Mr. Netanyahu and also with 45. All three of them, because there's no honor among thieves, right? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So it makes sense. But this energy seems to be coming to some sort of head this summer. Okay. So, and you guys, I'll tell you, I don't think I've said this on a video, but I'm channeling, I don't know, and they're not telling me, is that Mr. P exiting the planet would actually help so many people. Like, for instance, think about it. Probably the Ukraine thing becomes not a, maybe they stop fighting in Ukraine. Maybe they pull back their resources because the new person is like, I don't, this wasn't ever my thing. Like, I don't want to do this. The new person that's leading Russia, right? But also, well, Poland and all the whole Baltic states and all the countries that have a border with Russia, they all have a reason to not have him around. You understand what I'm saying? Like, every day there's more reason for this guy to be gone because he's becoming a pain in so many people's backsides. But here's the other thing. With no Putin, there's potentially no reason for a lot of these Republicans to be voting the way they're voting, because they're voting that way. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are voting that way because of compromat, which is dirt. This is something the guides have been saying for years and years and years. And there's even a book called Compromat. This has been proven. Okay. Now, and so without him, that could potentially free up the Republicans to decide whether they want to continue on this dangerous road with 45. So that's a game changer. This one guy could change the fate of so many countries. That's why he's a hunted. He's haunted and he's hunted. Okay. So yeah, I don't see him being around by the holiday. I think he's an Orthodox Christian or something. Isn't that what they observe? I'm not sure. But I just see this very over the top kind of religious ceremony around Christmas. And I feel like part of that has to do with him being honored in some way. Okay, let's move on. Donna says, will Stephen Miller pay for his evil crimes? If so, when? You know what's interesting? Well, there's nothing interesting about Stephen Miller, but I didn't realize how young he is. Like, he's really young. Like, I think he's under 45. I mean, he looks like he looks like a skeleton. That's what evil energy will do, right? It'll just make you age. Will he pay for his evil crimes? The guides are saying yes, but the guides, they can see everything. They can see his life, they can see his spiritual energy, they can see his karmic energy, his physical energy. And when they say yes, he's going to pay, it could be that he has a debilitating illness, or he has a debilitating mental anguish. There's lots of ways and we don't always see it. We don't always see the agony that people suffer. So I feel like yeah, karma is catching up to him. And I think that there's lots of opportunities on the table for him to get his comeuppance. Some of it may not be in our, we may not see it. It might not be visible to us, but yes. And I think another question would be, will he continue to be able to do his evil acts, right? That's the question, right? Like, how long is this guy? Because some of these people are active till their 80s. Like, look at McConnell, right? Like, some of these people are like, just Roger Stone is another one, right? All the way back to Nixon. Guy's still freaking evil. So when I see Miller, and it just, they're just catalysts for lessons, is what the guides are saying. These are catalysts for lessons. These are like our teachers. We're not going to learn a lesson if we don't have a Stephen Miller to show us how evil people can be, so that we can stand up and say, we don't want that. We're against that. We're going to work really hard. If our VOT wasn't enough, then we're going to get in the street. We're going to work really hard to make sure everybody understands that we don't want that we don't like this guy. Kind of like actually the way we're acting towards Musk. I mean, this guy's becoming a literal pariah. The problem with Stephen Miller is people don't know his evil acts. These people stay behind the curtain, and Musk stepped out on the stage. So now people are throwing tomatoes at him. I don't understand what they're saying. He will be held harmless. I guess what they're saying is he will eventually be harmless. Yeah. He'll be ineffectual. He will become ineffectual. So he won't have this power that he has now, which is great, right? He'll still be Stephen Miller. He'll still be the guy who kicks kittens, probably, right? But he's not going to have this international or even national power that he has. So that's good. That's really good. Curiopus says, is 47 even remotely aware of what's going on? Or is his dementia totally taken over? He's more aware than you guys think. I gotta say, I think a lot of things you're seeing is stupidity, and you're thinking that it's dementia. I'm not saying he doesn't have dementia. Before you guys get in, stop typing. You right there, stop typing. I'm not saying he doesn't have dementia. He absolutely has dementia, in my opinion, allegedly. I've always said that. I'm saying that, right. So what the guides want to say is that if you've ever known somebody with dementia, they can be super sharp. Like I remember my dad, like I was on the phone going, Jesus, he's sharper than I am. Like, I mean, I need to go get myself checked out. He was super sharp. But then, an hour later, he wouldn't know what was up. So I think that 45, 47, whatever you want to call him, he does have that kind of slipping. But I would also say that he is more with it than you think he is. I hate to say it, but he is. He's just, he doesn't care. He doesn't know the things because he doesn't care to know them. He doesn't care about anything but himself. So if he can't remember something, it's because he doesn't care. The guides are showing me G.W. Bush. G.W. Bush was very similar in the sense that the what do you call that? Whoever his handlers were that would every day read him, the top secret stuff, like this is the stuff that's going on. They had to do it in a way that held his attention. They had to change it. And I want to say that this was the first time that they had to literally change how they presented the information. Like you couldn't take GW Bush, he wouldn't sit there for 45 minutes. Like you had to make it into like a little, tiny little encapsulated message. And with 45, I don't even think you can do that. I think he doesn't care. You know what 45 cares about? He cares about who screwed him over so he can get back at them. And he cares about what his ratings are. And he cares about what other people's ratings are. If you ask this man who the most popular person is besides him, he would tell you. And he would tell you what the ratings are, and he'd be accurate. He'd be 100% accurate because that's what matters to him. Okay. So, how is his mental condition? And, you guys think about like, wow, you see him, he's got to drag his leg. I mean, he's like the Energizer Bunny because no matter what happens, he gets over it, or he deals with it, or he hides it, right? So he's just hiding it very well. Now, one of the things the guides are saying is perhaps he takes some sort of Ritalin like drug that is capable of sharpening his senses. Also, he avoids late night because we all have heard of sundowners. If you've not heard of sundowners, certain age people, when the sun goes down, they tend to lose their mental acuity. So I think he's doing everything he can to hide his slippage. Also, we know that the only people that film him or he allows to film him are people that edit out his slips or his, where he just tunes out. But I would just say to you that he's more with it than we think he is, even though I do think that he has, let's say he's got 40% is what the guides are saying. 40% of his mental sharpness or acuity, allegedly. Diane says, can Johnson and the Republicans really dismantle the federal courts? The guides just said yes, but I don't think in the way that we're thinking that they will. When you say dismantle, I think what you're saying is that there is, the Congress can pass a law that somehow makes these courts ineffective or takes away their power. Congress, the federal courts. This is setting it up to be something, apparently, energetically, when I look at it. This is setting up to be a constitutional crisis, is what this is setting up to be. I don't think that they can, in the end, just take them out. Like, I don't, I don't think that can happen. Can they make their rulings less, they can do something to their rulings. I don't understand what the spirit guides are saying. Weaken their power, perhaps, is a way to describe it. I think they can weaken their power. Ineffective. The guides are saying they can make the federal courts in some ways less effective, less powerful. Not dismantle, but make them less powerful. Not good. This is not good. This is not a good thing at all. Not at all what the Constitution had in mind. The next question is AJ Mole says, a well-known Vedic astrologer recently did Tim Walz's chart. Vedic is different than what most of the Americans do, Western. But anyway, Vedic astrology did Tim Walz's chart and said that out of all the major players, that his is the only chart as powerful as 45s. Do you see a presidency in his future? It's an interesting question because when he was running with Kamala Harris, he didn't want to be president. He was like, I'm good. Like, this is cool. Like, this is amazing. And I love this, but I don't know that I want to be president. But guess what? His energy completely changed since February. January, no, February, something happened in February. I don't know what it was, but he decided that the whole country was going down the crapper and that he had to do something. And you've seen him out there telling it like it is on social media. He came to Houston. He was with Beto O'Rourke. He's been to other places. He feels now like it's almost his duty to save us. And I feel like this guy was duty bound. Like, he got into politics for the right reasons. He got into politics to literally help people because he saw how politicians would get in there and just use their power to have more power or make money. I really feel like he did it for the right reasons. And I feel like, yes, he is very much interested in running for the president right now because he felt like nobody was fighting for us. Now, he's not saying that about Kamala Harris because he understands Kamala Harris is really very vulnerable. They would, like, she's under threat. Okay, let's just put it that way. She's under threat. And she's being protected. And he understands that. He gets that. He understands that he's an old white dude and he can show up in Redville. He can show up in these places and talk to old white men. And I mean, he's not old. He's my age, actually. But he's got silver hair. I mean, he's a different guy. He can talk to people. He can walk into rooms and get an open ear easier than Kamala can. Also, because he comes from an agricultural state, right? He gets it. He can talk that talk to those people. So, yes, I think his whole attitude has changed. And his wife's, they are literally on the same, they get it. They're like, put me in, coach. I'll go. What do you need? That is his attitude. You need me to go to South Dakota? Done. You need me to go to Houston? Done. You need me to run for president? Done. Like, he's all in for us. So yeah, I think it's, and maybe his astrology always said that, but we have free will. You can have astrology that says you should be whatever, and for whatever reason, life's hard knocks, the life you chose, the incarnation you chose was too much. And you said, no, I'm not going to do it. So it's interesting how spirit moves the power players and the scenarios around, perhaps to get him to step into this more leadership role, right? Like from being a teacher all the way up to governor, all the way up, or a coach, to governor, and all the way up to the VP potential, right? It's very interesting. Thank you for that question. Stacy says, will Christine Nolan be called out for violating the Geneva Convention? What you're talking about is there's a picture of her, or a whole video actually, where she's actually standing in front of those Venezuelan prisoners that are stacked up. I want to say like somehow 3 beds high. It's horrible. It looks just like something out of WW2, and you know what I'm talking about. And I actually said something in a social media post. I said, this woman was absolutely a Nazi in a prior incarnation, right? So here's the thing. The Geneva Convention says that you're not supposed to take pictures in front of prisoners. I just have to say that they don't care. Like, they don't care about anything. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about the Geneva Convention. They don't care about NATO. They don't care about anything, laws. They don't care. So no, I think the Geneva Convention could like put some kind of slap her wrist, or even put out some sort of thing against her, but they don't care. You know, uh, how many people in 45's cabinet, including himself, can't travel to other countries because they don't accept people who are criminals? And he's a criminal. Does he care? No. Right? I mean, this is our problem, because they're calling our bluff. You think you have a constitution? Well, let me just step on it. Let me burn it. What are you going to do? The bully. They're calling our bluff. Now it's our turn to say, here's what we're going to do about it. This is the Tim Walz, right? Here's what we're going to do about it, buddy. We're going to get in the streets. We're going to not buy your products. We're going to exercise our freedom of speech to, until you cart us away, whatever. What do we have to lose at some point, right? But yeah, they're calling our bluff right now. Kathy says, do you think we are close to getting full disclosure on the election results? Each day is a nightmare. It really is a nightmare, and it just gets worse. Like, you think it can't get any worse. Yeah, right. They said, hold my beer. You guys, let me check and make sure, because I've never seen us getting, I hate to say it, but I've never seen us getting election disclosure. I've talked a lot about it, because the same reason why I talked for years about why Trump wouldn't go to prison, because we don't put presidents in prison, because they're calling our bluff. So we don't do things. The judge said, I'm not going to sentence you because you're running for president. We don't do things. And then they screw us over because we don't do it. It's the same thing with election. If we disclosed, if we said it was all rigged, which I said the very next day, I told you guys it was rigged. I stand by it was rigged. If we said that, the thinking among the Democrats and whoever is that the whole country would lose confidence. We would lose confidence in our system. Now, you guys that are watching me, you guys were 20%, maybe 15% of the electorate. The rest of them don't think it was rigged. They think Elon's a good guy. They think Trump is just a maverick. They're not tuned in. So if you tell them that R stole our election through Elon, whatever, whatever, if you just told them that, they would say, "You're crazy. It's not going to work." You see already, we're shouting at the top of our lungs. Nobody's listening to us. It's not going to work. Now, how I see it getting fixed, however, is I see the companies that make these machines, and I'm going to be very careful about what I say here for a lot of reasons. This is why I had to start a second YouTube channel. If you're watching, I started a second YouTube channel called Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower, because who knows what's going to happen to this channel. So please go subscribe to that channel. So if I disappear, at least you can find me someplace. Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower. I'll put it in the description. Anyway, the companies that make the machines that do the thing on the day, well, of course, they were hacked. They were allegedly interfered with, the spirit guides want to say. So here's what's happening. Those companies don't want to be a part of this. Number one, they don't want to be a part of the demise of our democracy. And number two, they don't want to be criminally involved if this does become a criminal thing. And number three, they want to be neutral. They want to be Switzerland. So they're going to take steps interior within their own company to make sure this doesn't happen. So they're going to, the guides are saying, service, update, attend to those machines to make them less capable of being altered. Okay, there's another word, broken into is the kind of the word they want to say. Now, what they just showed me in that brief second was there are some red states, red cities that will, okay, so you know what they're showing me? Do you guys know the tamper sticker? If you take this sticker off, out of warranty, like we're not responsible anymore. There are some states that are going to take the tamper sticker off, and that absolves the company. Okay. So they're going to do what they can to make sure that these machines are completely unhackable. But if something is messed with, they're absolved. So I'm not saying that the whole problem is fixed, but I am saying the guides are telling me that 85 to maybe even 90% of the problem is fixed. So they're going to be able to maneuver or hack or whatever 10%. And you know what I mean? So that's a big difference. That's a big difference, but it's still not 100%. Okay. So we're going to protect our ELECTIONSs that way. That's how we can still know we're going to have that work. But don't forget that there's all kind of ways, right? Like they move the polling place the day of, they close it too early. They now women got to bring passports. There's so many reasons why it's going to be hard to VOTE. I will say that I do see foreign entities like Germany right now. Germany is a country that is rubbing our noses in it, like, showing us to our face. Like Germany found all the Venmo accounts that were open for one of the guys on the Signal chat gate thing. One of those, you know what Venmo is? Venmo is like a little app that you pay people with. And people, you leave them public. I don't know why. Like you can look up Susan Lynn and, oh, she paid her friend $20. Oh, she paid this person who did some yard work for her $50. You can see it, or you can make it private. But this dummy left it public, and it was journalists. It was all these people on his pay, on his Venmo. And Germany cracked it, hacked it, and published it. So in this way, I can see other countries giving us data via their own media that says it was hacked. Here's the proof. But will Americans believe it? No, they won't. So I don't know if that answers your question. Even if I told you guys, yes, it's hacked, people aren't going to believe it, so does it really matter? Right? The key question is, are they safe going forward? That's the question. And because they know that these companies are going to fix their machines, they're doubling down on the SAVE Act, and on gerrymandering. There's so many problems beyond that. But if you're saying, are we going to be able to go back and prove that it was hacked? I would give it less than a 10% chance. I mean, that's 10%, but that's what the guides are saying. 9% chance. They want to be specific. We have to move forward. We can't always say this injustice happened and I'm not going to give up on it. Sometimes we have to go forward and fight the battle that's in front of us, because right now we got a battle right in front of us. And that is educating people. Republican women, you think you're going to vote? You're not. You're not going to vote. Do you have a passport? Right? And just asking women, why is it that you can't vote but your husband can? Just because you took his name. Why do you think they did that? Because these people still don't believe. They won't admit it. They won't admit it in their soul that Republicans are coming after Social Security. They won't admit it that they're coming after women. We have to continually put it in front of them until they wake up. We have to be the ones communicating to them. Okay, so that's the battle in front of us, is that. Let's go for a few more things here. Good question. Brenda says, what is Jack Smith up to? Apparently he's back in the country. I do feel like this was public, but I don't know now. It's hard to sort out what the guides are saying and what I've read, but I feel like he presented some document or report. I feel like he came and gave some report to somebody. I mean, I'll go behind the scenes, right? So there's something interesting that he's working on. He is something very, very that's got his attention. He's like a dog with a bone, really. But but he's also the kind of guy that when they say this case is closed, he moves on, because you can't. It's just what the guys are just saying. We have to move on and fight the battle in front of us. He's like that. He's like, if the case is closed, I'm moving on. But apparently something has come back. I just want to see if he's being paid, or you know what I mean? I'm trying to see, is this an official role? Does he have an official role that he's doing here? Yes, he does. Okay. And this actually popped into my head recently. RICO. Um, the guides have always said RICO was going to bring these people down. RICO law, you can look it up, RICO, it's for mobsters. It's a very handy law to connect people to one crime. So if you're the bank robber and you went in and robbed the bank, but you're the getaway driver, well, you're now part of the crime. And if you gave the getaway driver $100 to put gas in the car, you're a part of the crime. You know what I mean? Like it's a spider web. It's a way to loop a whole lot of people together in one crime. And that's what I'm hearing that Jack Smith is interested in right now, is RICO. And I feel like, right, you know what's interesting? Oh, this is interesting. Okay. I mean, this depends on, we'd already talked about it, but this depends on Democrats or whoever finding their spine, getting their spine out of the, maybe they had it dry cleaned. Go get it, put it back in your body, get a spine. But what they showed me was a lot of 45s, like Doge, like they're not government employees. They're not elected a people. They're citizens, I think. um, they can be arrested. So I think there's crimes that I think people are going to start getting arrested. Maybe not elected officials, because we're squeamish about that still, but you're not anybody's elected official. and you broke some laws. So I feel like there's this tightening of the net coming around these people. And I think you might see some people get indicted or a target letter, which is also why you see Republicans going against the federal courts. I mean, it's like a race to see who's going to get the flag, and the flag is the power, right? So Congress is like, we're going to get there first. The feds are like, we're trying to get there, but we're hamstrung because the courts take so long, because we have to have we have to convene a jury, one of those secret juries, to get a judge. The court, there's a reason we have due process. It's important. The reason that these poor people got plucked off the street and are now in a Venezuelan prison is because they didn't have due process. We don't want to give away our due process. We need more due process, not less. But so that's what's happening there. There is movement. Jack Smith, Biden just popped in. If you've watched my videos, you understand that he's working behind the scenes. Him and Obama working behind the scenes. There's public facing people like Tim Walz, and then there's behind the scenes people like Obama, Biden, um, other people that were in their cabinet as well. Hopefully I've answered your question. I'm channeling. I don't know what I just said, but yes, he's busy. He's good. He's good, and he's busy. Kane says, will the Olympics be boycotted by other countries? Oh my God, the Olympics are in the United States, aren't they? Many countries have issued a travel warning not to travel to the USA. This is terrible for those athletes. They work really hard for 4 years. A lot of them have no money, work, 9 to 5 jobs. That's terrible. There's a little bit of time between now and then, I think, but I'll just tell you, and this is something I said when I was doing that live reading with Kevin, Loving Vibrations too, is that things are never like what you think they're going to be with 45. So instead of people saying, we're boycotting you, we're not coming to the Olympics, it's 45 saying, you're not welcome. I'm not letting you come to the Olympics. For the love of God. He's going to go to these countries like Italy, I don't know who, and say, yeah, you're going to have to be nice to me. You're going to have to apologize. You're going to have to give me something, or I'm going to rescind your invitation. This is what he's going to do. It's not, other countries might say, we're not coming, but because I think he knows that's going to happen, he's going to jump out ahead of it and say, you're not welcome, before they have a chance to embarrass us. That's what I see happening. It's embarrassing either way. It's embarrassing, but more embarrassing that our own president would say, you're not welcome. Don't even come. Don't even step foot. I know it's bad, you guys. I know it's bad. Like, I would not travel internationally right now. I wouldn't do it. That's just me. And if I was not white, I would not do it. I wouldn't do it just because I'm a public figure. Like, if I was Susan, Smith, I probably would do it. But I'm a public figure, and I'm sure I'm on somebody's radar somewhere. We just have to put our heads down and take care of ourselves and do the things you can do. Make your 5 calls, donate, volunteer. If you can do nothing but get on social media, and when you see somebody like the 2 people that are running in Florida, amplify their post, share their post, talk them up. These are the things we can do, right? Like, we can amplify. When Tim Walz is out, amplify his post. Amplify these people's posts, spread them, share them, be positive too, not just negative, this terrible thing happened, this terrible thing happened. Also, remember, we can amplify the positive things, right? Like the Supreme Court that just, or whoever it was that just won, that was like a very Republican race that this person just won. Now, the 2 Florida races, I feel like one of those people is going to win. They're special races, whatever you want to call that. I really like Gay. The other guy, Wiles or whatever, however you pronounce his name, I think he might win. I wish that Gay would win, but I think one of them is going to win. Now, I will say that I believe, my opinion, that those races will be tampered with 100%. So he should win. This guy Wiles should win, but it could be tampered with. Let's see. Coco Chanel said, "What happened to Jessica Alber? She was found dead in her home." We did read about this. It's foul play. It's foul play. That's all I can say about it. It's foul play from the country that starts with an R. Okay, let's move on. Kim C says, "How does Stefanik feel about her demotion, and will she turn on 45?" She won't, because she is literally drank all the Kool-Aid and then licked the cup. No, she's a team player. She's going to do what she needs to do. She understands this is important. No, she instead what she's going to do is take her dismay, her disillusionment, her anger, and turn it against her constituents. You're going to see her be even more ornery and more loud and more. You're going to see she's going to go to another level to prove that she is the Trumpiest. Good luck to her constituents. It's going to be worse. She's going to turn her anger on to you guys, on to whatever it is that she can jack up in her own district. Jonathan says, "Will Musk be held accountable for his actions in Doge? Also, what is his energy level?" Such a good question about his energy. Last year, the guides, before all this went down, before Biden stepped down, the guides always said that Elon in 2025, they had one word for him, and that was ruination. Just one word, ruination. Here we are. I still see it coming for him. I think that he will be kind of run out of the country. Allegedly, there are some things that could come up that would be illegal. And it's so weird because all of them have done things that are really illegal, but we haven't been able to get our spine installed in time. So maybe all of a sudden, it's like the energy all builds. Like I told you earlier about the net coming together. It's almost a sense of the energy building and building and building to this crescendo. Like when you're angry, and then you're seething, and then you're roiling, and then you just pop, right? You just pop. So yeah, I think that this is this year for him. I see him leaving the country. I don't know that I see him going back to South Africa. I kind of see him going to some country that looks like Saudi Arabia, but I don't know that it is, but it's some country like that. But he's not, he's a pariah. I said it earlier, and he's a pariah even on the run. He does take some money with him. He takes some power with him. It's almost like he runs before he gives up the power. That's going to create a problem. I see that creating a problem because he's on the lam, but yet he's still like the head, crazy person in charge of Tesla and SpaceX. So he doesn't step down from those. He runs while he's still in control of them, which causes a whole problem. You have to understand these are publicly traded companies, and they have boards and they have shareholders. So he will. SEC is the SEC Security Exchange or something, like they're coming for him. That's probably why he runs. But he doesn't step down because he knows that's his power. That's his pawn. As long as he still has that. But I think they remove him. I think they remove him from control. Like, you know what I mean? Like they vote him out or something. Anyway, and then let's ask about his energy level. I just keep seeing his chest, but I don't know that I don't know that that's a heart thing. Pulmonary. No. Is there a thoracic and pulmonary all together? I don't know what that means. I can't figure out what they're saying. But anyway, could be a problem with a blood vessel and a bursting and a stroke kind of thing. I don't, he could cross over. So if you've watched me, my spiritual videos, which really you should, because if you want to learn how to live through this hellscape we're in, you watch my spiritual videos to help you understand how to do that. So please, again, consider subscribing to Spiritual Way Shower, Susan Lynn, spiritualwayshower.com, not .com, on YouTube. I'm channeling. People have multiple exit points to cross over. It's just not a number. This is your time. There's multiple times. And sometimes they span years and years. Okay. So he has an exit point coming up again this year, July, August, maybe even May. But he may not take it. You know, like I think 45 had an exit point when he had COVID. He was very sick. Again, the world's best healthcare, because he was president, kept him alive. And also he was a really good teacher. These people are teachers. Once we learn the lesson, they go away. They go away. Once we decide that, you know, everybody's the same, and we're not going to treat people from a different culture or a different race or different sexuality or even a different, you know, whatever, differently. That's the lesson here, folks. Once we decide that, then these people don't need to be here to teach us this lesson, because we won't fall for it. When they show up and say, that person doesn't look like us, let's take them away, we're going to be like, no, then they don't. Our population is racist, folks. That's why we're here. That's why they're allowing this to happen, because they really do think that white power is the best. That's what they think. They're in agreement with this. Once we learn that lesson, that's not true, and that our diversity is our biggest power. The fact that we're diverse makes us resilient. It makes us so powerful, so much more powerful than countries that aren't diverse. Once we realize that's our superpower, then we're not going to fall for these people anymore, and they won't be here. So yes, I think he's got an opportunity to exit. I think he might exit, because it does feel like his lesson is wrapping up. But I'm telling you, it's like they slapped a renewal stamp on 45. Like, oh, you want to renew your contract? Okay, go get them, son. Go get them, you know? So this can happen, okay? The thing is, let's not wait for that. Let's work really hard in our communities and call racists out. Call them out. They don't, you know, Republicans hate to be called a racist. You are a racist. There's a reason you don't like it, because you know you are. You know, I just say, let's just start calling them racist, period, to their face, because that's the truth. And you guys, once we start dealing with this energy, then it disappears. This is how we get through this faster. Okay, just call them out what they are. All right, I'm going to end this video right now. I will be back. There's many, many more questions. I'll be back to answer your questions. One more thing really quickly. I have a free online community called the Lighthouse Keepers Crew. Free online community. If you're afraid to talk in the public space, if you're worried about things getting out, or worried about people treating you badly, join a private group. My group is not on Facebook. It's not on Meta. It's not on Elon. It's not on Google. It's not on YouTube. It's completely separate and private. Your name is never sold. Your information is never sold. Nobody can get in there unless they join. It's free. Lighthouse Keepers Crew. All the information is down in the description. If you want more than that, if you want to have, like today, we had actually, I just came from there, my members, we had a special presentation today. If you want to have more activities, me there twice a month doing readings and doing activities with you, guest speakers coming in and doing activities with you. If you want to have your own special political section, we've got that. If you want to have your own special spiritual section, we have that. That is my magical metaphysical community. It's $12 a month. You can join, you can cancel anytime you want. There's 2 communities. One's free, one's premium, but they're there for you. Also, I have a class coming up April 26th. The power of your soul's purpose. You guys, it's all metaphysical, it's all spiritual. Everything in our lives is spiritual and metaphysical. I'm using this time to learn about myself. I'm using this time to grow my soul because I can only do so much about these crazy people out there. So when this is all said and done, I'm going to walk out of this hellscape a better version of me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm pouring all my resources into me, learning about myself, expanding my abilities, growing my soul. Okay. This is one of these classes that can help you do that. $37. April 26th, I think. And I'm teaching it with my good friend, Afefe Tahemba, who's on here, Touched by Tarot. She's amazing. We've done many classes together, and they're very popular. We always sell hundreds of tickets to our classes because they're good classes. Okay. If you can't make it, you can always buy the class and watch the recording because it's included. If you want to know more about that class, The Power of Your Soul's Purpose, look down here in the description. You can find it all on my website, susanlynnmedium.com. And I know there's more, but I can't remember. And I'm tired from channeling for an hour. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. I know it's hard. It's hard for me too. We're all in this together. Thank you for supporting each other, and take really good care of yourselves. And I'll see you really soon. And also, I just want to say, for entertainment purposes only, we have to protect ourselves here, right? All right. Take good care, everybody.